I ordered a pint of Guinness because I was like, that's what men drink, you know?
Yeah,
I'm 16,
absolutely.
trying to be 18.
Well, you weren't wrong, mate.
But I was still like, my voice was, you know, still a bit and I ordered this pint of Guinness. Barmaid pours it. I know nothing about Guinness or drinking. 3/4 of it settling at the bar. I said, thank you. And took it.
Oh, no!
That's criminal.
Yeah,
But I had no idea.
No, that's absolutely fantastic.
Because I thought she knew I was underage and she was like, we'll give him 3/4 of a pint. So I was delighted. I took it.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
Right, so we're at college. Take it away.
That's my first week in college, which was in the centre of Belfast. Completely different. I straight away went, I think I'll be properly friends with these people.
Okay.
And
that's nice.
People of all different ages.
Yeah.
Different backgrounds, and even just the wearing your own clothes thing. It sounds so weird, but just having that freedom to wear whatever I want.
But it's identity, is it not?
Yeah.
You know, wearing your own clothes is you get to kind of choose who you...
Yeah.
Especially when you're younger and you're trying to find kind of who you are.
Yeah.
Clothes is a kind of an express way into doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way I dress now is I am someone that doesn't want to leave the house. That's clearly who I am. But so what? Okay, tell us how you dressed. We know you went football shirts, tracksuit. What did you do?
I was sort of coming out of my football top era.
Yeah.
I think that was, you know what I'm saying about you fall back into that in later life. This was the point where I was sort of going, oh, you can't wear football tops at this age.
Of course not. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I totally get it.
So I was wearing...
I'm an adult now.
I was a tracksuit top guy. Tracksuit top, pair of jeans.
Jeans and like, do you mean like tracksuit top? So like might be one of those Adidas ones?
Yeah, or we're talking about like, do you remember the Bear USA times?
Well,
remember that as a brand?
No.
Or Echo?
Oh, yeah, Echo. Was Echo an elephant? Have I made that up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You were throwing on like they were horrific.
This is quite hip-hop-y. Echoes, come on, that's...
Yeah, what about
if
me doesn't scream hip-hop?
Were you into hip-hop?
Yeah.
Oh, right, hang on. Well, I didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
So,
but that wasn't why I was wearing... I still don't associate Echo with hip-hop.
Right, fine. You tell me.
I did have a completely unrelated anything because I was 16 and, you know, we got what was called EMA. So it's means tested grant from the government. So you got £30 a week.
You get free money?
When we went to college, you got free money, EMA. If your parents earned combined under a certain amount of money, EMA. And I remember buying a Rockaware cap.
Yeah.
Now, but it was like a beanie, but made out of like silk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I remember buying it without putting it on because I was so excited. I was like, yeah, Rockaware, Rockefeller, and bought it and put it on. Yeah. And then it was not what I thought it was. I didn't look like how I thought I was going to look.
Yeah.
But college was just magic. It was brilliant.
Okay.
I loved it.
Right. And did the
train tracks?
So the hip hop influenced how you dressed? Just to be clear.
Yeah. If I'd have seen, not really, but if I'd seen, you know, anything Wu-Tang or...
This is like the thing I really need to pin down before
Fat Farm. Remember Fat Farm?
PH.
Yeah.
You didn't have those jeans with the family down your leg, did you?
Do you know
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like a black family down the...
If I had access to buying those, I would have, but that was not sold in Northern Ireland. But if any shop did, I'd have had it.
Oh, God.
FUBU, you know?
FUBU, yeah, exactly that.
Imagine me just in the FUBU tracksuit.
Yeah.
I would have.
Okay,
but we couldn't have got that stuff.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're there and you're college and you got your food. No, you don't have FUBU gear. You wish you had FUBU gear.
Wish I had FUBU.
You're listening to rap and you got your friend. Now, how are you connecting? Why are you connecting with these people? How are you connecting with these people? Is it music? Is it comedy? What is it?
Do you know what? It was movies. It was comedy movies. It was around the peak of that probably era of like comedy movies of like, you know, Will Ferrell, Owen Wilson, that gang of comedy actors.
That's so strange you say that to me. I tell you why. I'm so intrigued by this. Is because I'm 3 years older than you, and for me, that class of comedy, they actually had a name, didn't they? Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn and all. They were the frat pack,
right?
I think. And Ben Stiller and whatnot. That I was very much of like the Jim Carrey, the kind of family comedy It was where my interest in American comedy kind of peaked.
Yeah.
And then by the time it got to Will Ferrell and Ben Stiller, I was a big fan of, but by the time it got to like Old School, I kind of checked out of that for some reason. Right. So that's really where
I remember the first guy I met in college, Michael Foster. I remember him and someone did something or whatever, and he quoted something from like Old School.
What a moment!
And I remember just going like, I've seen that movie too. And then I would quote something from it.
Yeah.
And then we got chatting, and I was like, where are you from? And he said, Hollywood. And I was like, how do we not know each other?
This is amazing.
And we got chatting, and then that weekend there was another couple of people from our class who lived nearby, and we went for like a couple of drinks. And I just remember being like, there's no pressure here of like, and I remember probably feeling like, oh, I'm not trying to fit in or anything. This just feels natural. And Michael produces my podcast now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is the podcast that kind of took you to the next level.
So first week of college, when I met Michael and all these people in my class, I was like, this is me, this is comfortable. And I had never drank in my life, never had alcohol before. I was 16, which is like, especially where I'm from, that's old to not have drank.
Right.
Most people are married, divorced, have quit drinking a couple of times, and now they're sort of back on it a bit. But I just never had, but I felt comfortable enough that, and some people in my class were 18, 19, 20. I went, and they were going out drinking in Belfast. Yeah. And I went, that's a bit of me, I'm going to do that. And I remember, oh God, I ordered a pint of Guinness because I was like, that's what men drink, you know?
Yeah,
I'm 16,
absolutely.
trying to be 18.
Well, you weren't wrong, mate.
And I went into a bar and ordered a pint of Guinness, you know? But I was still like, my voice was, you know, still a bit and I ordered this pint of Guinness. White's Tavern in Belfast, barmaid pours it. I know nothing about Guinness or drinking. 3/4 of it settling at the bar. I said thank you and took it.
Oh no! That's amazing.
Which I think up until recently could get you jail time in Belfast. Like that's criminal. But I had no idea.
No, that's absolutely fantastic.
Because I thought she knew I was underage, and she was like, "We'll give him 3/4 of a pint." So I was delighted. I took it.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
Just give him a lovely little baby. Just give him a little portion.
And she went, son, I'm going to pour more into it. It has to settle. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I was just whatever. And she poured the rest of it, and I had a pint of Guinness. And I remember drinking this pint of Guinness, hating the taste of my first Guinness, first 12 Guinness probably.
Yeah.
And I was looking around being like, this is it, this is brilliant. And I was like, what a night I've had. I went, this will be a brilliant night. Get to say I had some alcohol with some friends, brilliant. And then straight after that, somebody went, we'll get some orange WKDs.
Yeah.
A few orange wickets. I went, brilliant. And I go, the best thing about the first time I've ever drank here is what I think would be sensible of me to do is try a vast array of completely different drinks. As if the wisest thing, because I'm not going to have a couple of Guinness because then I'll be drunk, but if I have one drink of every available spirit and alcohol, that will be the way to go.
Exactly. Widen your horizons, Seann. Absolutely.
I felt great in the bar. I was like, this is great. And we were walking back to a friend's student house again, our class. And I said, guys, I'm going to do a cartwheel now. Right? I went, just to let you know what's going to happen. And I...
Get your cameras ready.
Royal Avenue, Belfast City Centre. I went, here we go. But crucially, as I sort of sprung, I forgot my hands.
Yeah, I got to remember.
They're a really important part of a cartwheel. So my head just hit the pavement, and we went back to this guy's house. I was fine. Like I was like, that's no problem.
Yeah.
We're fine. Went back to this guy's house, and I realised like, oh, I'm drunk. Like I'm badly drunk here, and a bit hurt. And I said to Michael, who I was with, and he's 16 too. I went because his mum was supposed to give us a lift home. I said, you need to like get your mum come pick us up now. I'm freaking out here. And he went, oh, she's on her way, don't worry. But I thought he was just telling me that, and I was drunk and paranoid and all vulnerable and 16 and stuff. And I was like, no, mate, please, like ring her. And he went, she's going to be here in like 5 minutes. And I was like, no, there's no way. And 10 minutes later, I got really like upset, and I was like crying. I was like, mate, please, can your mum come and pick us up? I don't like the way I'm feeling. And he was like, you're in her car. He's like, you're in the car.
Oh no.
And I was like, mate, stop just trying to tell me that. I was like,
oh no.
I was like, I know you're being nice, man, but like, get her to pick us up. He's like,
oh no.
And we were in Kate's Nissan Micra, and I was like slurring my words, and then we eventually got back to my house. He was dropping me off, and apparently as soon as the door opened, I just like turned it on. I was like, Mrs. Foster, I was like, can I just thank you so much for giving us a lift home. Really appreciate it. And get home safe, guys. Got my house key out, went to put it in the door, turned around to them to give them a thumbs up. Projectile vomit everywhere over my front door. Felt awful. The next day, my dad, I was like, I need a backstory because I forgot about the cut. Horrible cut in my head.
Well, I was worried you were concussed.
No, I was sort of...
That's what I was...
No, I was fine.
Okay, you're just absolutely...
Say to my dad the next day, we're playing football down the gravel pitches. I say we're playing football down the gravel pitches. I've slid, I've cut my head, and he sort of bought it. And then the next night, my dad was giving me and Michael a lift to a house party, and I was like, I'm not drinking ever again.
Yeah,
I'll drink once and it's fine. Still have this cut in my head, and I was like, but I've got away with it with my dad. And as my dad was dropping us off, he's like, have a good night, lads. And Michael, who I have not warned, goes, yeah, better night than last night. He goes, well, with this dickhead trying to do a cartwheel drunk and then, sort of breaking his head. And I was like, you've really betrayed me here without knowing it. And I just felt like I let my dad down. So I didn't drink for a long time after that.
But then you forgave Michael.
Forgave Michael.
And started a podcast with him.
Started a podcast
years later.
Because I feel like that's the only way I can mend bridges with people, is to start a whole podcast with them.
Yeah.
It's not cost effective, and we've launched so many pods.
It's the only way I can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Now it's like people want to meet. Do you want to meet up for a coffee? Can we record it?
Yes.
Okay. Then
well, very briefly, the last time we met was in Melbourne.
The first time we met.
First time, and you'd just become a dad, and I think I'd just become a dad.
Yes.
And your show was on before me.
Very different experiences in Melbourne.
And you were ill. You were like really ill.
Oh God, I really was. I was really, really ill.
You were there for the whole festival. I was there for 4 days. I just swanned into town, and I was on after you. So we would pass each other in the corridor.
Yes.
And we didn't really know each other, but sort of said hello and stuff. And I was like, and you were like, I said, first night I went, how you do? I was so excited to see someone I recognised. I was like, how are you? And you were like, we brought the baby over. Like, baby's not sleeping. I've got you. It's like a virus. You were like really unwell. And I remember being sad for you, but so buzzing that I had made the decision not to bring my wife and son over.
Yes.
So I felt like punch the air moment. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. And you probably didn't get the best version of me because you were literally talking to someone that didn't want to be where he was.
Man,
I was in a country I didn't want.
Like in like a Charlie Chaplin movie when he was, if someone was like, looks sad walking around. Because like you were just so sad when I passed you.
Oh my God, it was one of the worst. I've had a lot of bad experiences in my life. That was up there, that Melbourne.
Yeah.
But you had a nice time. That's the main thing.
Lovely. Lovely time.
I probably didn't get to tell you this. My show, I was performing my show, and obviously, it was particularly high energy, if you will. And I remember an Australian woman in the front row, she kept on fiddling with her smartwatch, but it didn't look like it was like she wanted to be doing it. It wasn't like she was bored and checking what she was like trying to stop it.
Yeah.
And I said, sorry, is everything all right? And she said, your performance is stressing me out and it keeps on setting off my watch because it increased her heart rate. So that the Apple Watch thought she was having some sort of heart attack watching me. So yeah, I think I was kind of just
how frantic it was.
Slightly lost in translation in Australia. But anyway,
looking back on that, I probably didn't help you when when out of politeness, you were like, I've been sick, the baby's sick, we're not. What about you? And I was like, fabulous day, down to the beach, went for a walk, got some nice food, played Football Manager in my hotel room. I feel fit as a fiddle.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's wonderful. It feels like when he did that quote, almost like I forgot what they're called. Is it the cubit, the baby with the bow and arrows just kind of shot?
Yes,
a love
yes.
heart into you?
And there was an ad for the TV show Green Wing out at the time, and it was two guys in a corridor, and we used to do that, like almost act that out, and I felt like everyone in the class just like was kind of into the same things.
Yeah.
I remember buying Kanye West College Dropout album. I remember we would make movies because it was like a filmmaking type thing.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to be. Everyone was doing behind the camera.
Right.
So I remember reluctantly like being in something, and that was the first time. Never having done the school plays or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's a camera on me here," and I'm just being a bit silly. And then for the rest of that course, I didn't learn anything about filmmaking because I was just in the stuff. I was always just in the stuff. But it was being filmed by my friends.
Yeah.
And it wasn't being broadcast anywhere. It wasn't going on YouTube.
Yes.
We just show it in the class or whatever. And that really was... Because I loved stand-ups in school. Like, my dad would let me watch stand-up from no age at all.
Okay.
Like,
This is good.
no problem swearing, whatever, because he knew I wasn't a bad kid. I knew when to repeat that stuff and when not to.
So is this on... Because it gets tricky now with our ages and even like a 3-year gap. Is this on television? Is this on DVD? Is this on the internet?
Way pre-internet. This is like Def Jam comedy, probably videos.
VHS,
and then this
Def
is
Jam
like
comedy.
The Fast Show, Sketch Show.
Oh yeah.
And any stand-up that's on TV live. So anything that's on. My dad loves stand-up still, so he'd let me watch it. My mum as well would let no harm.
So it was a kind of family thing that you would put stand-up on, and you would all laugh together.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I would watch and rewatch
wonderful,
and rewatch. And I remember in P7, primary 7, so I was 11 or so, saying to Chris McBride, who I mentioned earlier, who I should have passed to, I said, imagine we had a TV show, and I used to always talk to him about it, and I said. Cool. No, bold title.
Daydreamer in you.
I said, let's call it the Kings of Comedy. No, that's a wild move.
Confident.
Because that was our pilot, the Kings of Comedy. And
I love it.
And I was picturing how we would come out at the start of the show and all this kind of thing. And but I never would have got up on stage or anything. And then college was when I started to go. Remember, I thought about doing that. Imagine I did do that, and. It was when I was at college I did stand up for the first time.
So before we get there, who were you? Who was your dad's favourite? And did that match with yours?
Probably still like me, not one out and out stand up. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor.
So
a lot of black American comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of black American comedy. Anytime we could watch Def Jam or Eddie Murphy Raw, all that kind of stuff, through to, I mean, literally such a wide mix. I still enjoy a wide mix of stand up now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I have a single favourite stand up, and I wouldn't say my dad does either. It was just anything on that was funny.
One thing I should mention is that you watched American stand up growing up. You watched it with your dad. And then, of course, you went on to support the likes of Kevin Hart and Bill Burr, which is, to me that's surreal.
Yeah.
It's a kind of cheesy question. It feels slightly like a kind of radio what a kind of a DJ might ask. But I do wonder, as comedians, we can be very lucky that we get to have those kind of pinch yourself moments. What's that like, that you used to watch American stand-up with your parents and now you're on with Bill Burr and Kevin Hart? And how do you process that?
It doesn't, so I'm in a nice position where when these guys come to Ireland, I can get the asking. I go, can I open? And then sometimes it gets fed over to them, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And for a while, I had an agent in America who represented loads of these guys.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a nice fit. And once you do one and you don't sort of fuck it up, they hear, or you can say the agent can go ask your buddy, whoever it is, because he opened for them. So all of a sudden there's this list of John Mulaney, Tim Dillon, Bill Burr, Theo Von, Kevin Hart. Yeah. And I never try and think about it at the time. It's just a gig. Okay. Let's go and do it.
Yeah, that's very sensible.
But the time where the Bill Burr one was great because I was doing Ulster Hall in Belfast myself for the first time the week after it. So I got to try out the stage almost with no pressure on me.
Just trying out the stage whilst Bill Burr's here. Yeah.
And none of those guys, and I mean it, because, I mean, if I trashed them, like, they're not going to care. None of them were a letdown
That's so lovely.
people, you know?
That's amazing.
Just, like, so polite, nice, watch the set in most cases as well.
Very nice.
Because then you talk about specific bits and you're like that. The one that sticks out was John Mulaney doing Belfast. Opened the quick interval, then I watched his set from the side, and it was the best hour and whatever it was of stand-up that I've ever seen in my entire life. And that was a real moment of, I'm like, how lucky am I to be in a small way sharing this show with someone who's doing what he's doing right now as I was watching him. It was the bit. I'll never see an hour of stand-up. Baby Jane.
It was Baby Jane, yeah, which I've seen on Netflix as an outstanding
kind
show.
Of different to the. I find that a lot. Sometimes when you see them almost like working it out and it's a bit rougher, I maybe like that. Not rougher, but you know, you're going to see the polished version of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's going to be cut for time a bit. I kind of like this.
But also, stand-up is a live.
Yes. Yes.
Live. What's the format? It's a live performance. It really is. Your football and the difference between watching a game at home in the living room and watching it there at the ground. It really is a live art form. I think. But to because I listen to American comedy podcasts and all that sort of thing. So I'm a fan. So if I see someone I'm a fan of and they're coming over, you know, can I open and? I wouldn't. It's something that kind of stands out to me is just comparing myself to you there. I wouldn't do that. I don't have it in me for me to. I'm so afraid of rejection. I wouldn't have in me to go. I'm going to ask if I could support. I couldn't bring myself to do that. But for me, that sounds like a confidence, actually, to put yourself out there. I've got friends, you know, that are like that. That are a bit more. I don't know why I've ended up referencing Adam so much today. I don't know. I don't normally do that. I don't know why that is. But Adam is a very get up and go. He's got something that he wants out of life. He's going to go and get it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that. Do you think that comes from somewhere? Have you thought about that? The fact that you've gone, they're coming over, right? I want to support them, and you've tried to make that happen, and it has. Do you see? Could you follow that back?
First of all, I'm not expecting them to say yes, really. You know, so I'm not like hanging my hopes on it. Yeah. I'm just putting in the ask because there's no harm in that.
Yes.
And also, I have no real fear of rejection that way.
That's amazing. How do I do that?
So if I.
Let's talk afterwards. If
you were doing Belfast tomorrow night and I went, which I would if I wasn't gigging or if I was in town doing another show, I go, here, do you want me to jump on for 10, 15? It's literally just if there's a person and an act that I like and think I can, and it's not like I'm not being like if I can help. I mean like I will do my best to make it a good gig, especially if it's in Belfast.
Yeah,
because. You know, I want all these guys to come back to Belfast and other acts to come over.
Yeah.
So it's almost like extending a bit of an olive branch. Now, it might mean nothing to them or little to them, but it's sort of like, you know, I see it as like almost like a bit of respect of like, you know, I'd love to come, I'll come and open your show, like no problem. But the rejection thing, no, I mean, I've had it with like maybe an audition or something, limited times of audition. I'd love to act more, but I've done a couple of auditions, never really got anything. But I don't see it as like.
I can't even be bothered with that anymore. Right. Just the amount of rejection. I go, forget it. I'm sick of being. I'd rather just get on with. I'd just rather have a day where I wasn't rejected.
Yeah. I don't know. I never see the trouble in asking.
Yeah, okay.
I'll ask once if it's a no.
And look what happens. You got it. It's fantastic. What do you think it was about Black American stand-up that particularly, other than it being, you know, wildly funny, was there anything else, do you think, that was speaking out to you?
I think a lot of it was funny family stories.
Right.
Coming from big families and the granny and the family does this or whatever, whereas probably more shows that were coming from the UK or London or whatever, that for whatever reason were maybe more topical at the time, or talking about stuff that was going on in the UK and pre-internet. I didn't necessarily know what was going on there at that age.
Yeah.
So I'd rather hear a story about, you know, going on holiday with your granny and something funny happens than something to do with the government or political.
But also, do you know what? And I'm just kind of thinking of this now, is that stand-up at the time when we were, that, you know, this is in the 90s and the early noughties, and stand-up was filtered through television. That's how you got, you know, that's how you got stand-up, mainly was from television, and then it being kind of, there being VHSs of touring comedians that you knew because of television.
Yeah.
Because we got to know them through television, their act had to be, you know, almost kind of had to be pre-Watershed.
Yeah.
So the acts that kind of ended up blowing up, like your Lee Evans and your and you know, Jack D, heroes of mine, and what? Who else would there be? You know, there's like kind of Lee Hurst and Jeff Green and Eddie Izzard, and there was a kind of, what am I saying? There was a kind of.
Do you mean they were filtered and it felt a bit like safe, and then you would watch the stuff on video from America and they were just saying whatever?
Yes, I wouldn't necessarily word it like that, but it's kind of, if it's on television, it's there's a kind of, you're looking for a broader audience.
Yes.
And you're not going to be doing, you know, look, give an example, Richard Pryor live in concert talking about his dad dying while sleeping with a prostitute. That's not going to be on live at the Apollo.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're getting a kind of, there's a rawness, no pun intended, with Eddie Murphy. You're getting a rawness that in the 90s, in British stand-up, that probably was there with people like Jerry Sadowitz and stuff like that, but it was underground.
Yes.
And it was at the Edinburgh Festival.
Yep.
It wasn't at a mainstream, going out to a mainstream audience like it was in America. Mm-hmm. And so you were getting this kind of, you were into the kind of rawer side of things.
Yep.
And did that have an influence on what you do?
In terms of style of comedy?
Yeah.
Probably, like, I still love a story about my dad or something.
Yeah.
Talking about my dad, that kind of thing. So that probably does maybe subconsciously come from there. That's
amazing. Because I think, again, it's like it's unconsciously, but where I grew up on Lee Evans, grew up on Jack D, the kind of, it's like, it's routine based.
Yeah.
And it's just naturally, you don't go, I'm doing routine.
Yes.
This is how I'm going to work and this is the temp. But you just naturally, that's what you grew up watching, that's what you love, and then you end up doing it like that. So it's great. So you watch that with your with your dad, and you watch that with your mum, and then you're buying the tapes, you're re-watching them. Yeah. Do you know you're kind of studying them at the time?
No, not at all. But I would redo the bits at home.
That's exactly what I was like.
And you know, you were just doing an impression of what you've seen, you know, and it was such a buzz. But I never thought I'll do that. I would have talked about it and I'd imagined it, but I never would have thought I would actually have the confidence to get up and do it in front of strangers.
Right, and then we cut to you being on camera, so now kind of confidence is being created by your friends making videos. Something's happening kind of almost unbeknownst to you.
Yes.
There's a confidence building of I'm performing in front of camera now, and then when does that turn into...
I think I was 17 and I decided I was going to do it, but it was more a case of I'll do it to say I've done it, but you know, I'll just do it once.
How did you know you could do it? Because a lot of people didn't know about comedy clubs such.
I went to the Empire Comedy Club in Belfast. Yeah, you played the Empire?
Absolutely. I remember my first gig there. It was the first time I did a gig and stayed in a hotel. And I took
just
a photo.
Across the road?
Yeah, I took a photo of my hotel room and sent it to my mum. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was like the high life. I couldn't believe I was... And I absolutely died on my arse.
Sure. It used to be a bear pit.
Yeah, but I was very new. I went back. The next time I went back, I was closing, and I had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Right. So you go to the Empire.
When I was 16, when I started college, a big thing we did was on Tuesday nights, it was student discount, and I would at 16 go to the Empire and watch, sort of sneak in and watch, and I remember
this is the flagship comedy show in Belfast. Would that be fair to say?
At the time, yeah, absolutely, and. You know, you get big names coming into town, and I would watch them and be like amazed by it. And then a guy called Paddy McGackie, who sounds like the most Irish comic of all time. Yeah. This guy Paddy was on, and he was from a small town in Northern Ireland, and the other acts were English or American or whatever.
Yeah.
And then this guy, he was a student at the time, he was maybe in his early 20s, he gets up and he has my accent and he's just talking about being a student in Belfast. And I remember who I was with, I remember where I was standing, and I went like, oh, you're allowed to do this? Like, they let us go maybe and do this? You know, I couldn't, like, I still remember his routine, and then still such good mates with Paddy, and he used to drive me to a load of gigs. He would get me on, he'd bring me along.
You're now friends with someone you watched.
Yes. And I begged him to do that routine, because by the time I was doing it regularly and we were going to gigs, he was doing new material, and I used to beg him. I would go, please, it was a bit about Casualty being on TV, and I would go, please do the Casualty bit for me. And I would sit and watch it like it was even now if he did it, it would be like the first time I'd seen it. So I googled stand-up comedy. I was like, I can't go and do the Empire. Stand-up comedy nights in Belfast. And
I love that you knew that you couldn't do the Empire, because a lot of people are naive to think they'll see the comedian up there, and it doesn't matter the size of the room, they think, well, hang on, I could do that, and they would get up at the Empire.
Yeah, I did do that in a way, because Jackie who ran the Empire, produces the Blame Game for BBC Northern Ireland, which is like the comedy TV show, the panel show, and I watched the Empire and I was like, I can't do this. But after one gig, I got Jackie's email address and wrote him an email at the age of 18 and said, Jackie, just to let you know, my name's Seann Todd. I do stand up now, so let me know when you would like me to come down and do it.
What, the Blame Game?
Yeah, do the show. I said, like, I'm just making you aware. I was like, you probably already heard that I'm around, but I'm doing 5 minutes of stand up now. So
and I'm willing to put some time aside.
Yes,
for you.
Yes.
To come down and do your favour and do.
I don't need to take over hosting or be a team captain, but I'll come do a show. And to his credit, I'll always give him that. He replied. He was like, "Brilliant to hear you're doing stand up. Good luck. Keep an eye. Blah blah blah." And then of course years later I did it. But
wonderful.
But I googled stand up comedy nights in Belfast, and there was one happening in the Cathedral Quarter in Black Box, small venue, and I saw it and I told people in college about it, and then a few people I was mates with were like, you got to go and do it, and I was like, I'm going to do it, and then it kept going on, and then. From my memory,
you kept kind of bottling it. You kept putting your name down.
Kept saying it's in the works, and they wanted to come. So when is it? And I go, I need to speak to. And it was Paul Curry who was running the gig, and I of course didn't know any local stand-ups, and then almost like did it in the room in the classroom with all the PCs with people in class. I had to write them as email. They sort of were like, do it. So I asked for the spot. I got a spot. And
how old are you? 17?
18.
18.
I think I just turned 18. And I remember it felt like I had no experience being up in front of a crowd. I didn't know what to do. I remember the material I was writing, and then I got up there, so nervous, dry mouth. I had that for about a year, dry mouth.
Yeah.
And I got up there, lovely crowd, other good acts on. And I wrote out like a script, because I thought you learn the script and then you deliver it like a monologue. Because
then again, because it's kind of pre-social media, it's pre-using the internet as a kind of tool. We didn't use it as this kind of tool, did we?
Yeah.
It was like there were websites and
tips for new acts, or No, you
wouldn't have known. Like now, you could definitely very, very easily just with one search ask ChatGPT, "I've got a gig. How do comedians do it?"
And or some tips.
There'll be a guide to how to do it. But so your presumption was, this is scripted.
Yeah, to the word.
Well, that's quite helpful, isn't it?
Yes,
that's quite helpful that was your presumption.
But I had never learnt lines and dealt with nerves on stage. So I, of course, 2 lines in, forget. Now, if you offered me £1 million for the next sentence, I couldn't have given you. So I do the first 2 lines.
I can't breathe.
I do the first 2 lines, which are, "Thank you for having me. My name's Seann Todd." And then I have... Now, when I'm...
And at this point, no one's thinking, this guy's good.
Yeah.
This guy should be on the Blame Game. Get this guy on Blame Game.
Now, they're like, who's to blame for letting him do this? Now when I get up there when I'm 18, I look 14. I had a baby face. So I immediately say, "Oh, I've forgotten what I was going to talk about," and then that got a laugh.
Okay.
And I went,
well, because it almost sounds like a joke because you've not said anything yet.
Yes. And I went. James. There was a guy called James. James from my college class. I need to hug
myself while you tell me this.
And I went, James, could you give me that wee book? And he handed me my book, and I start looking for the next bit, and it's getting laughs.
This looks like because you would think this was a bit.
It's getting and a few like ahs, and I went. I remember going. I don't know why I bought these shoes for this show, and they were like purple Adidas high tops I got on a sale somewhere, and they were horrible shoes.
Yeah.
And when I said that, and that's maybe the start of realising it's funny to be deprecating a bit.
Yeah.
And people were laughing at that, and I was like, this is going so badly because I couldn't find the page that the script started.
Shame.
And I did 3 minutes up there, and I got some laughs when I got round to actually doing a bit of the material, not really getting laughs, but because I got away, it was young people, gave me a bit of sympathy.
But yeah, you'd get a lot of sympathy where people would be able to kind of...
And I enjoyed it in a way, but I said, that's me. I've done it. I was only going to do it once. I've done it. And then about 3 months later, I went, maybe I'll do another show. One more. No matter how it goes, one more show. And I can say to myself, I did that. But it went well. So then it just...
That one went well. Was that? Can you remember if that was the same set?
No.
No.
Different material. And I remembered going, I'm not good at memorising all this. So if I know the main points in it, maybe I can just... So I'm never word for word ever.
Okay.
With stand up, even on tour at the minute.
Yeah.
I like to know what are the points here, and then, let's be like natural.
Well, that will give the material kind of life.
Yes,
won't it?
Because you
moving.
You have that. You say something differently than you've said it before, or you go down a wee avenue with it.
Yes.
And then you're giddy about it.
Yeah.
So it looks, the audience are like, he's never said that before. That's great. So and then I remember being around stand-ups, and even though everybody was way older than me, I was like, these people were all like a bit weird. This is it. So now I fit in with them because I'm a bit weird too.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the circus. So you arrive at the circus with your kind of bag, and you go,
right.
"Hi, I'm a bit weird."
That's right.
Goes, oh yeah, we're weird. Come sit down.
Yeah.
The misfits of society.
Yeah. That's really what it felt like.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So did it? Yes, I mean you've said it. It's basically, it's kind of a bit cheesy, but there is that moment where, I don't know, it could be in a green room or on stage, where you kind of go, oh, the world makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Is that what you kind of got?
Yeah. And I realise, like, when I'm not, I fit in with these people when I'm not trying to fit in, because they're like, whatever this is, they're like that too, and
yes, yeah.
And everybody was just really nice to me, and being really young and couldn't drive yet and all this kind of stuff, like they were always offering to give me a lift or whatever, and got to go round with some great comics who would bring me to gigs, let me do 5 minutes, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So I knew pretty early on, like, I'm always going to do this, and whatever.
That's wonderful.
The level is, I'll always do it.
Well, it's at very high level, and it's international, and it's all around the world. When you were a kid and you were daydreaming, you kind of mentioned this actually, that you talked about having a show. Imagine we had a TV show, the Kings of Comedy. Was there a kind of fantasy of being? Because if you reach a certain success, there's a level of fame. That could be any level, any degree of fame. Was that something that you fantasized about?
Never ever the fame. Never the fame, but the buzz of, like, the show.
Yeah.
Or being able to do that. And still, like, there's by default of what you do, people get to know you. And people will, and that's great. But it's always just about making people laugh and, like, being on stage. And it was never... I think people who want to be famous, you can kind of spot it, and I think comics can spot it, and long term, I don't think it works out,
Interesting.
But certainly, like, being on TV or doing something like that, I could have seen that.
Yeah,
could have seen that.
Okay, well, answer me this. I ask everyone this most of the time. There's the quote from Aristotle. We think it's from Aristotle. We're not sure. Some people argue about this. But anyway.
Can I be honest? I thought he played for Greece at Euro 2000, so...
It might be him. It might be him. It might be the player for the Millennium. Is that the one they won?
I think it was 2008.
Okay.
No, 2004.
Right.
I fucked it either way.
That's fine. But give me a child until, the quote is, give me a child until the age of 7 and I will show you the foundations of the man. So is there something that Aristotle would have been able to spot in you when you were around 7 or thereabouts, that actually he would have been able to make the connection between that young boy and
what I do now?
Yeah. He would have seen that, this is where this guy's going.
Probably the ability to mimic people.
That was there at such a young age, was it?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I remember a guy came into our school to give a talk about something, and I was buzzing when he was talking, because I knew that when he left and when there weren't teachers, I can do that voice. You know?
Right. Yeah.
No, he was Jamaican. He wasn't. He he was from like a real what would you say, like countryside town.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember being like, I can do that. I can do that voice, and even like among the family and that sort of thing, just being able to do different voices, even from probably 7 kind of age.
It's funny. It actually sounds like you were a natural performer, but you just didn't quite have the confidence to kind of come out of your shell yet. And throughout the course of your youth, it was just about kind of incrementally, slowly, just getting comfortable with performing in front of people until, bang, the first gig. And then by the time we get to the second gig, well, there's no going back after the second gig.
And I would say stand-up followed the same pattern of, like, after about 12 years of stand-up, or maybe even 13 years, I remember feeling like, I'm feel way more natural now, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of followed almost like the same thing.
Okay.
Where it was like...
it takes a long...
It does. And because where I'm from, we have less gigs, so you're not on stage. You can't get stage time every night and that sort of thing. So, 18 years of stand-up on the Belfast scene might equate to half that in London or whatever else.
Do you get the thing I get where you're slightly... I say slightly. It's mortified by... You kind of, the previous incarnations of yourself. Like if you see an older bit of stand-up, you go, "Oh God!"
I did until, again, maybe fatherhood, where when you say I just started stand-up and then 5 years after that I watched one of the first gigs, I would cringe out.
Yeah.
Now I kind of like almost look and go like, fair play to you, like you're.
I love that.
You're trying there.
That's really nice. Yeah. I have to say, and this is about you and not about me, but I was doing something. It was something for Adam. Adam Rowe was doing a sort of pilot or something, and for some reason they showed a clip of me. They said, and this is you from Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow, and I just wanted to run out of the room. When they played it, I couldn't believe how young I was. I was 20,
I remember you on that.
I was 23.
Because that's the peak of me looking at TV stuff and going, that's the dream right there. So I never...
Turn this off, Dad. But
I never missed any show like that. So any Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow, live at the Apollo for a certain amount of years, I've seen all of that, and I remember you on that.
Oh my God!
And
but
probably
you won't know how young I was, because I was last year, I think. So I'm 39, and then go, oh my God, I was that's all right for someone that's that young. I thought this was awful. I'd only done about 12 gigs, whatever it was.
And I'm probably watching that going, he's not that much older than me, and he's doing this.
Totally, yeah.
So it does make you think like things are possible.
What you're trying to say there is, I'm a huge
You're my
influence.
hero. Yeah. You're my hero. That's what you said in the email before doing this. Working away.
That's it, we got it. So there you have it. That was the hilarious, fantastic Shane Todd. I don't know Shane too well, but what an absolute gentleman. I thoroughly enjoyed his company. He's a very funny man. And as I said, I think in part 1, I was really enjoying his stand-up special. And he's got so many. He posts all of his stand-up specials on YouTube for free. So go and just, give him a search on YouTube. And there's lots of fantastic stand-up there. If you want to head over to patreon.com/classclown. If you have any questions, you have any thoughts, you want to ask me. I'll do my best to respond over on Patreon, so you can hit the link in the episode description. As ever, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone that you think might enjoy it. We want to keep trying to make the show bigger and better, and that helps us massively. If there's anything you want us to do, let us know. But that's all for now. That's me, Seann Walsh, of course. Remember, I'm on tour. This is Torture, national tour in the UK. For any Londoners, I'm at Hackney Empire. Tickets are selling nicely, actually. I'm chuffed. Please go check that out. It's at SeannWalsh.com. Anyway, see you next week on Class Clown.